This video was meant to be about Anthem. I was excited to check it out, people had requested it. I booted it up, it took forever to connect to a server. The introductory cutscene played twice for some reason, and then I got booted back to the main menu. I finally got into the game proper and I played through the intro up to the point where you have to shoot these barrels, but my gun wouldn't fire. And then the game said, "Oh, sorry, we can't connect to the server, we're kicking you back to the main menu." Things were going better this time around. I managed to shoot the barrels and I actually got about half an hour into the intro before it disconnected me from the server again, booted me back to the menu, no option to continue my game. So I thought, screw that! I wasn't even going to play online. I just wanted to see this train wreck in action in single player, do some Iron Manning like I'd seen in all the videos on youtube.com, which is a video sharing website. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but no Anthem for me. Well, shit, because that now meant I had to figure out a different video to make, because you, the audience, need a steady diet of me being awkward on camera, so decisions needed to be made and needed to be made quickly. At this point, I was feeling a lot of self-hatred, so I played about 3 hours of Duke Nukem Forever for the first time.
Everybody thinks I'm crazy.
Until I literally started feeling nauseous and was like, I can't do this. That game is gross. And then in a moment of pure madness, I thought maybe an Alone in the Dark video would be a good idea. Not the new one, the old one that no one gives a shit about. So I threw that in for about an hour until I could no longer handle maybe the worst controls of all time, ? Eventually I thought, you know what? I should just make a video about LA Noire. Maybe no one cares about it anymore. Maybe no one will watch that video. But I love it. It makes me happy. And it'll wash this awful taste out of my mouth on account of all the whiskey and vodka I'd inhaled in my sorrow.
Get back in there and raise some lumps, boy!
But as I was picking up bottles and doing the coal face and enjoying the best voice acting of all time, I started to feel uneasy. I started to feel anger growing inside me.
And that's when I got mad.
I couldn't stop thinking about Anthem, how all I'd wanted to do was play a single-player BioWare RPG. Shoot some monsters, enjoy some nice visuals. It looks really fucking good. But I couldn't.
Computer says no.
And then that made me think about trying to play Diablo 4 and how I couldn't play that for the first few days because of server problems. And that made me start thinking about how Ubisoft is turning Assassin's Creed, one of my favorite franchises of all time, into a live service and battle passes in goddamn sports games.
When is this shit gonna stop?
And NBA 2K24, and I'm not even done bitching and moaning about this one yet, and they already want another 150 Australian
Dollary dues!
for this one. And then as I was taking a bow, because it was my first day on the traffic desk, I thought to myself, man, when did video games get so fucking weird? A little while ago, I made a video called Sports Games Got Weird, in which I basically rambled incoherently about what an old man I am and how sports games used to be pure and innocent back in my day and get off my lawn.
So I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time.
It seemed to resonate with a lot of people, but I also got a lot of comments saying things like, "Yo, Sam, it ain't just sports games, buddy. Whole industry's fucked." And the thing is, yep. Does anyone else remember when video game publishers didn't need to apologize all the time? When Twitter wasn't awash with JPEGs of varying sizes and styles and pretty colors, all saying, "Sorry everyone, we fucked up, but we're listening to your feedback. We're still friends, right?"
We're sorry.
Or when you could launch a game for the first time and not have a battle pass ad be the first thing you say, or be super pleasantly surprised when it isn't the first thing you say.
That's incredible. That is unbelievable!
Or when you could play any sports game without constantly feeling like the publisher was trying to steal money out of your back pocket. Oi! Nothing. Companies need to make money, I get it. Executives need more boats. Sacrifices need to be made to the shareholder god. Sun goes up, sun goes down, business as usual. The problem is that at some point, guys in suits noticed these nerdy little video games were getting kind of popular. There was money to be made over there.
It's no money. Okay.
Slowly but surely, business needs started to leech their way into your favorite video games. It started small with Horse Armor DLC, and then when publishers realized they could get away with some simple stuff, they kicked it up a notch. We started seeing card packs and loot boxes, which is fucking genius, because if someone really wants an item for the game they love, and you say to them, "Well, it might be in here, just keep buying them, you'll eventually get it." How many times can you tease someone who loves that game into making that purchase? Maybe about this many fucking times. Things started to feel a bit gross at this point, but we kept buying the games. The publishers were like, "What the fuck? How are we getting away with this? What's the next stage of our evil plan?" Well, they'd given players what they wanted when they paid them extra, but what if they approached it from the other other side? What if they denied you progress unless you paid them extra? And so the age of deliberate progression throttling and frustrating withholding of XP was born. And yes, I could have come up with a better way of saying that.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Of all the bullshit that has appeared in big publisher games over the last 10 years, this one pisses me off the most. There's nothing quite like the feeling of dropping 120 Australian
Dollary dues.
on a brand new game, opening it for the first time and immediately seeing an ad saying, hey, do you want to give us some more money so you can skip 10 levels of this progression? Do you want to pay us some money for an XP booster so you don't have to suffer and witness how clearly we've geared this progression for the players that are willing to pay us more? Oh, you only paid full price for the game? Get out of here, you fucking peasant.
Your money's no good here.
A lot of people playing games these days have never known it to be any other way, and a lot of other people have just grown to accept it and to go along with it. Saying things like, oh, whatever, just play the game. It's really easy to ignore this stuff. I'm sorry, but can we have some standards, please? I don't know about you guys, but I have a hard time ignoring an ad popping up on every menu in NBA 2K24 that when I finish a quest in Assassin's Creed, my XP bar moves up by an amount barely perceptible to the human eye. Meanwhile, I can see that the hard areas of the game are level gated at 400 million.
Exaggerating.
And I'm always getting prompted to buy an XP booster so that I don't have to grind on this game for the next decade to see the shitty ending cutscene.
This is stupid.
And I have a hard time ignoring when it becomes obvious that most of a game's budget has been put into the one area that can siphon more money out of loyal fans, leaving a barren wasteland of old, unpolished, unimproved modes everywhere else.
Literally every time you launch the game, you get an Ultimate Team advertisement that forces you into the mode if you aren't paying attention. Because why? Because fuck you, give me money. That's why.
I don't find this stuff easy to ignore, and maybe we shouldn't have to ignore it in the first place. Maybe we should have higher standards, expect more out of what we pay for with our hard-earned money, and perhaps most importantly, not make excuses for giant corporations that do not give the slightest shit about you or me or anything other than moving money from your pocket into theirs.
Oh, shit, buddy.
As the number of subscription services increases and they become more complicated, and the ones that used to be simple are now becoming complicated, it just kind of makes me miss a time when I had 7 games on my shelf and I get my disc out and I put it in and I play.
Am I so out of touch?
PlayStation Plus, which tier should I subscribe to? Oh, if I want oldies, I should subscribe to this tier. Not that many oldies in here that I want to play. Thank God at least Game Pass is nice and easy. I get my day one stuff. I got my one tier. If I want to play on PC, I go to the tier above that. Oh, awesome. Cool. Let's just do that. Oh, they're changing it. My normal tier will cost more but give me less. But they're not going to charge me more unless I unsubscribe. They have to charge me more at some point.
One trick is to tell them stories that don't go anywhere.
Maybe I should just sign up for EA Play. That way I can play all the new sports games that they release. And they've got some good older games as well. There's like no games in here. I guess I can do a trial of the new college football game and I get a few dollars off Madden. I can play the old ones if I would want to. Not the good old ones, the bad old ones. Why are some of these games here if they cost the same regardless of if I have an EA subscription or not? I'm so confused. As publishers like EA and Take-Two and Ubisoft have grown and grown and grown, they've become so stunningly risk-averse, so terrified of rocking any boats, taking any chances.
You are a coward.
This is why we continue to get the same low-quality products year after year. Making improvements is probably looked at from a shareholder perspective as a risk. Never mind that it's bad, keep making it exactly the same way because that's what's selling.
I want you to sell your socks off. I want you to sell.
I think one of the saddest things that has happened over the last 10 years is these once great franchises that have just shriveled up and died into nothing. I look at Ghost Recon and it used to be a legendary franchise and it's devolved now into this meme factory.
I got one of them. What? Did they just make a cartoon sound effect when he fell down?
I look at Assassin's Creed and how it used to be so brave and risky. Splinter Cell doesn't even exist anymore, probably because it didn't balance on a spreadsheet somewhere.
You guys have to, at this point in the competition, you need to be listening to what we're telling you about what we're producing because this is ridiculous.
The more I'm talking about these games, the more I'm thinking this could just be called the Ubisoft segment. Let's not forget Far Cry either, which used to be an amazing franchise. I'm not totally in love with the first game, it's a little dated, but Far Cry 2, 3, and 4 are some of my favorite games. And then 5 threw out all of this stuff just so that they could integrate more online microtransaction bullshit. And 6 is a step back in the right direction. I'm getting so tired of publishers fucking up these franchises and then the next game being a step back in the right direction.
You ruined it and I'm leaving.
EA is going to get a lot of credit this year for releasing the first not awful football game that they've managed to put out in almost a decade.
Good job.
People will say this is a real shake-up. They're serving the fans, giving people what they asked for. They've made such a bad football game for so many years now, and they know that people desperately want a different product. So they've provided one knowing full well that it will sell. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy that this is a good game, and I love that people are finally able to enjoy a good football game. Just try not to confuse EA making a smart business decision with them doing you a favor.
We got you.
Playing games online is awesome. My brother and I live ages away from each other, but we're able to catch up most weekends over a game of Battlefield or X-Define or NHL 24. Actually not NHL 24, because it doesn't work half the time.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
The last time we tried to play it, we sat there waiting for about 10 minutes, and then some random guy joined our team even though we'd set it to private, and then he left, and then my brother got kicked, and then I got told I was part of an invalid session. I had to get the fuck out of there.
What the hell was that?
I can't play Redfall because my Australian internet seems to hate the servers for that game. Although, granted, not being able to play Redfall probably seems like a really good thing.
Yet it has less polish and presentation than that of $20 indie games. It was unscrupulously marketed by Bethesda, and it is a stain on Microsoft's reputation as a publisher and platform holder.
Sometimes the major publishers do hit it out of the park. Returnal is one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's a fucking miracle that Microsoft published Pentiment and Psychonauts 2. I mean, there's heaps of examples of big games from this generation of consoles that don't dive down into the bullshit that I'm talking about, and let me know some of your favorites below. But when I really think about it, the most memorable experiences I've had with this generation of gaming are all either smaller games or ones that weren't released by major publishers. I'm having a ton of fun at the moment playing through the original Ace Attorney games on my Xbox Series X, which I don't think is what that platform was designed to play. Vampire Survivors loads very fast on it, so that's fantastic.
Perhaps you are not as strong as the Emperor thought.
I think that big budget gaming has seriously lost its way, and it seems inevitable that it will only keep getting worse in that space. But as it does, it just widens the gap further for smaller teams to come through, to get their dream projects out there, which is awesome. There's no better feeling in this medium than playing a game that you can tell is someone's passion project, and they just want someone else to enjoy it, to get something out of it. And sure, they want to make some money, but so they can eat and live and make more games instead of buy another fucking holiday house. A little more of this and a little less of that. Fuck corporate greed, never pre-order. Please go and play games like Pentiment and Returnal and Psychonauts 2 so that they know we'd like more great games like this without the bullshit, please.
Does this story seem possible?
I've said it before and I'll say it again, video games are fucking awesome. Here's to them and here's to all of you playing them. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. I'm sure you guys have some opinions on big games, little games, the big publishers, the little publishers, the indies. Let me know below your thoughts. If you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe. It really helps the channel. And if you've enjoyed this video, I think you'll probably enjoy this video here just as much as well. My name's Sam. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.